This is Aisle 42. Many of us care deeply about what we put in our body, but a lot fewer of us take seriously what we put on our body or what we use in our homes to keep us clean and fresh. In this sustainability-infused episode of Aisle 42, I chat with Anie Rouleau, the founder of the Unscented Company, and we cover some really interesting ground around fragrance allergies and her inspired approach to creating natural, biodegradable, and safe for everyone home body care and pet products. We talk about environmental standards, how her team is reducing single-use plastic packaging, their Bcorp certification, and ultimately their passion for consumer health. Their product lineup is amazing, and I can't wait to try their shampoo bars. Okay, here we go. Here's Anie from the Unscented Company. Anie, I am so excited about this conversation. Your product is, I came across it just about maybe 2 years ago initially, and then got to learn more about it better a year ago. It seems like you're growing like crazy. You have so much to offer people. You're doing so many good things for people and the planet. But before we get all to that, I want to officially welcome you to the Aisle 42 podcast. And I want to ask you the question, if you were to imagine the perfect grocery store of the future, what would it look like?
It would definitely have less space, like less square foot, just the essential, no cash.
No cash.
No cashier. Yeah. I think that's the best scenario I could dream of.
Your biggest friction point is having to go through the checkout.
It's when you go to the checkout. And I think Uniqlo has the perfect solution where you just cross with everything and it just sends you the bill and it pays right away.
All right. Maybe you could just drive up, open your window, they just throw all your groceries in and you drive away.
I would love that.
I love it. That's so good. Okay, so the Unscented Company. When I first saw your product at an industry show, it really struck me as a bold play around packaging, a bold play around an aesthetic that I thought was very attractive. But what really got my attention was all of the things that you guys are doing to bring, the impact that your business is having on people and on our beautiful earth. And it was your Bcorp certification that in your category kind of stood out to me as really interesting. So I'm excited to get into everything. I'd love for listeners to get a sense of what it is that you guys make. So can you walk us through your products? I know you don't necessarily have to list all of them. You guys have so much going on, but what are the things that you guys are making and what do people love?
Well, actually, when I launched the Unscented Company, it was to redefine the notion of clean. I always like to say that at first because it's a home and body care product that is natural, biodegradable, efficient, exclusively fragrance-free, but we've designed our product line to reduce our plastic footprint. So basically, Corwin, I'm a soap company with detergents, with hand soap, with dish soap. And by definition, I am part of an industry that creates one of the worst environmental disaster, the single-use plastic packaging. So it is not just the bottle of water, it's our bottle of dish soap and laundry soap and shampoo and conditioner. So I really wanted to come up with a simple line of products with only the essentials and yet designed to reduce our single-use plastic packaging. So that's what I wanted to do in 2016. But obviously, when you launch a line of product and consumers are really used to fragrance, and I'm completely natural, unscented, and refillable, it was tough to get the message across and get the consumer excited about that because natural used to mean that it wasn't performing, that it didn't foam, that it was too expensive. And yet, if it's unscented, if it doesn't smell lavender or lemon, it's not clean. And oh, by the way, why don't we just refill or reuse our bottles of plastic or glass and last for years on a counter? So it was a big challenge. And suddenly the consumer, I guess they changed. They are changing the consumer habit. They know what's going on with the plastic in the ocean. The big companies have also addressed the issue. So we just are at the right time in the right momentum where consumers, not only do they want to buy unscented, they do want to reduce their waste. They want to contribute and be part of a company that has a positive impact and added value. So that's where I stand. I never woke up in my life thinking I would sell the best dish soap on the planet and become the leader. We are going to lead the market by change.
Wonderfully said. And I think your play into like fragrance free is a part of our home life here. My wife, is always looking for things that, either have very specific scents that she's comfortable with and, her skin is fine with, but many are not. So a fragrance free or unscented product is very attractive to her. What was it about kind of going the unscented route that was so important? Was it a personal preference of your own that sort of made you feel like you just had to make more of this for other people?
Oh, absolutely. At the age of 13, I had my first migraine, and naturally, I became an unscented environment in my house with my family, my business. I just was intolerant to fragrances. Nothing overwhelming, but definitely that I could not tolerate it. So when I launched the line, I was 43 years old. The two kids were 3 and 4. It just made sense. I said, you know what? I've been doing my own products at home, living unscented. Maybe there's somebody else like me. And guess what? Not only do I attract people that are intolerant, that don't like it, that are pregnant, young children with anything from eczema to allergy to asthma. There's also men that don't necessarily that lives alone and don't necessarily wants to smell all the floral in the apartment, and every person that goes to the gym, that goes to fishing, hunting, outdoor camping, they love unscented. So just that, I think I have a good enough market. For me, fragrance was not part. The name says it all. It's the Unscented Company. It's not just a trademark, it's a brand positioning, it's a marketing attribute. So I'm never going to add fragrance. So I want to deliver my promise. And that's how I'm going to do it. And really, unscented, just the category is big enough for me to grow a nice and profitable business.
And there's something about the scented businesses out there that there are times where, yes, someone will walk by or sit in front of me or sit near me, and I'm like, and you can just smell the pungent, whether it's some deodorant or body spray that they've used, or some shampoo or conditioner or hair product or whatever, or perfume. And you're almost kind of gagging on it. I know those are pretty extreme scenarios, but it happens. And you realize that, there are plenty of people that are out there that are buying and wearing or using products that have a lot of stuff in them, which our bodies are not meant to absorb, or our brains, or it can be really hard on us. But I'm not sure I'm not sure those people realize that their fragrance is quite off-putting. So I think it was your positioning around unscented that first got my attention. Yeah, mostly because of my family and what we buy. But it's so good. And I think I came across a number, 1.5 million bottles saved. That's a lot of plastic that you're actively working to replace in the system. And when I see all the plastic out there in the grocery stores and in all the places that we're shopping, it's overwhelming. So I think single-use plastic, or plastics that don't have a long usability, they're doing some damage. So what's it been like sort of designing and building a system based on the refill model?
Absolutely. And I think when you walk through those aisles in the grocery store, there's two things for me. It's becoming more and more the smell. You really can walk through it and you see the amount of plastic. And those two things are definite. I'm part of the solution for that. And you cannot in 2024 build a business, put up some products on the shelf and not be mindful of the packaging. I think within 5 years, if we're not mindful of the packaging, we'll be old fashioned as businesses. I think we need to address it, and the consumer is ready. And 100% of our products, you can purchase the refills or the solid alternatives, which, for example, a shampoo bar, a conditioner bar, a soap bar, the laundry tabs and dish tabs and dryer balls. So there's plenty of solution out there now that are plastic free and at the same time water free. So it is more than just saving bottles. We are saving water at the same time. And now every year, that's our environmental KPI. So that's the key performance indicator. It's not just about the finance part of the business, but it's about how our consumer and how when you purchase the unscented, what does it impact? And to be able to put that number, 1.5 million, and every customer, when they go on our website and they purchase through our website, they know exactly how many bottles they personally saved. And I think the more we put that communication out, we realize that each and every one of us do have an impact. It's not true that you just saved 12 bottles this year. It is 12 bottle and it's great. So I'm excited that I would say since 5 years that the consumer have really bought into the refills, and that they buy their first starter kit, and after that they buy the refills because the retailers are also offering refills on the shelves, and that's important too. So it's the entire industry and mostly the consumer that's ready to move forward.
Hmm. And talk to me about biodegradable ingredients. When we think about, the stuff that's going down the drain, sometimes we can as, just regular people, we can kind of take it for granted that the stuff that's going down the drain is going to get filtered properly or processed properly. And maybe it can, or maybe it can't. We don't give it as much consideration as we should. You guys are considering it. Nerd out a little bit for me and talk to us about biodegradable ingredients. What are you guys using to make that happen?
I think first, when you offer, let's say, a dish soap or a laundry detergent on the market, and you want it to be as much as natural as possible, we're not perfect. We do have ingredients in there that are considered synthetic or conservative. So they're there to protect the products. But we always want to put as much as natural derivative ingredients, mostly, obviously, vegan. So mostly vegetable. Vegetal. And I don't think I know that word in English, but you want to always to be vegan. So by definition, you will have a product that is more biodegradable. You always want to do the testing. So each ingredient, each formulation do go into testing to make sure we are biodegradable. And there's an international standard that your products has to disappear from the environment, 60% of it within 28 days. After that, it can be a bit longer, but you always want to be as much biodegradable. And our products are between 80 to 99% biodegradable within the first 28 days hitting the ground. So for me, today, all products can be biodegradable. I'm not saying that everyone is doing it, but what we call the green chemistry, so the way we formulate, it is absolutely available. It's not more expensive. And I think today, if there's one attribute any consumer should look for, let's start with biodegradable. And after we can move. But I think it is very easy to make that very quick consumption habit change.
And let's go back to your bar strategy here, putting shampoos and obviously soaps and as many things into like bars or water-free formats. I mean, it's very logical in that, well, if you can rehydrate something, you can add water to things. You can, I know the soap that we one of the soaps we use, is sort of just a distilled water gets added to it off the refills. How are consumers responding to the bars? Is especially like I guess it's bar shampoo and conditioner. Is that a growing category? Are more and more people buying those?
Absolutely. Shampoo bar actually is our number one selling on the web. So I think what helped a little bit is all of those new regulation of traveling. And traveling with liquid can get messy and it's tough at the border. And so shampoo bar became a very big traveling item. It's a great item to go to the gym and to go to any sort of outdoor. And so for us, is our fastest growing. The shipping, it's easier. There's never a mess. And the reason why I don't think it picked up before is that I don't think we had the right formulation. And for us women, we like to be able to wash our hair and style it, go to work. I didn't want to have a shampoo bar only because I'm doing camping and after 6 days, I must wash my hair. I want to be able to wash my hair, go to work, and have the same results. And so we came up with a formulation that is as efficient and as used for women to be able to style their hair. And I think that's when we saw that when we got a product that was efficient on the market, people tried it and said, "Oh my God, that actually works." And so it became one of our fastest growing items and now it's number one. So the impact of people using shampoo bars is tremendous.
And you've brought up camping now twice, so I have
Yeah,
to
I don't know
ask:
why. Huh?
is camping a big part of your life?
Nature is, and definitely the outdoor is. And I believe, nature is our strength at the Unscented Company. If you look at our branding, you'll see the mountain, say Mont Tremblant, Lac Ouimet, Quebec. You'll see the wave. It is South Shore of Halifax. And in nature, you have two things. You've got to respect it, and there's a beauty in it. And so that's where our brand comes from, the beauty of the nature. And because we're a B Corp, we got to respect it. So for me, maybe the camping, or we've got our team that does a lot of outdoor activities, and they run, they do cycling. It's just, I guess, it's part of the DNA of the business. That's why I bring it up. And it just makes sense because I remember going camping and washing my hair with a soap bar. And I just couldn't believe we were doing that. And now that I have a true shampoo bar, it makes the whole difference.
Well, I'm doing an overlanding road trip to the Arctic Ocean later in
Oh,
August. It's going to be a 2 or 3 week adventure, depending on weather and road conditions. And I tell you, if I we are going to be jumping into the Arctic Ocean in early September. It's
wow.
going to be pretty cold because it's almost the snow is almost going to be flying at that point. And so I think the idea of having a what if I wash my hair in the Arctic Ocean with your shampoo bar? I don't think I'm going to be in the water long enough to use a conditioner bar. That's going to take a few extra seconds, which I don't think I'm
Yeah.
going to survive. But yeah, so I'll do the camping for you. But I agree. I think our experience in nature is an important one. I think it's a very human experience that a lot of people are kind of forgetting or not giving priority. It doesn't Not everyone has to be a camper, but
Hmm.
just to be outside and breathing air and being around plants and trees and flowers and seeing wildlife, and I think it's an important thing. And so I love the fact that your brand and your team and all the work that you're doing is going towards that. I can't help but notice that you guys have two product lines, one that focuses on baby and kids, younger demographic, younger consumer or user, which I think is fantastic. And I was shocked to see that you have a care
Yes.
line, which is great. There's a lot of smelly dogs in my neighborhood. I would love to see more pet owners use products like yours to keep their pets clean. What's it been like getting into the pet industry?
You know what? When I launched, I had a dream to be in every room of your house. The only place I'm not is in the garage right now. But I want it to be in the kitchen, in the bathroom, in your shower, in your laundry room. And I have Patch, I have my dog. And he was only the only one left behind. And for me, whenever we walked into a veterinarian and I could smell those very, I don't want to name any brand, but some detergents that smells like spring and smells like boreal forests around animal where dogs, they use their smell as a defense mechanism. So for me, it just doesn't go together. I think we absolutely need to wash animal with unscented soap, any shampoo or any shampoo dog, obviously meant for dogs, but definitely just exclusively unscented. So instead, I said, you know what? I'm going to start my own, and it's going to be a bar. So there's not going to be any plastic, and it's fantastic. The only issue and the challenge I have, it's only one product. And so any pet chain or anywhere consumer can get it, it's tough because it's only one little product on the shelf. So it kind of doesn't get the right recognition and brand awareness. So for the baby, that's the reason that we launched 4 product in that category right away. It was the last thing I wanted to do. I wanted to have a good 10 years experience in the formulation, understanding the kid's skin and sensitivity before I put something out there. And so I waited. That's my last line. It's only for Canada right now. And it's amazing. Really, retailers and the consumers are really responding to that line of product. And there's nothing better than the fresh smell of baby. Nothing. We don't need to hide any smells on them.
Yeah. And I find my daughter now, she's 10 years old, and some of the products that are out there for her age, they're very strong, overwhelming scents, a lot of fruit and a lot of floral. And it's really quite almost toxic. And interesting that you mentioned about migraines or headaches. I think that she's very sensitive in that regard. And the fragrances that a lot of kids like, especially like shampoo, for example, it is it would keep me awake if I was to have a shower at the end of the day, and as a lot of kids do, they have clean up at the end of the day. That smell is just horrible.
But you're right. I think the kids or the baby and kids has its limit. I think around 9, 8 years old, I'm pretty much done. I think the age of your daughter, my daughter, so between 10 and 15, that's a challenge. They are overwhelmed of products on their social media, and all those smells are you said it, it's overwhelming. I don't have any issue if someone wants to wear perfume once in a while. That's not. But when there's fragrance everywhere in your household, in every single cosmetic, in every single personal care, it becomes too much. And I just figure that at least when you use unscented part of your day, that's that less on your body.
Well, I have one final question for you, and it's a fun one. If there was a celebrity out there that was to spontaneously, organically endorse the Unscented Company, which celebrity would you want that to be?
She actually came in 2019, and it was Gwyneth Paltrow that
No.
just came and wanted to meet the Unscented Company because she detoxed her hair, detoxed her body, and wanted to detox her home with the Unscented Company. And she is the reason the company just flourished because she wrote a blog on her essential products of cleaning products, and it was the Unscented Company. And she brought it on Goop. And from there on, I just cannot believe what happened after. She just made it happen. So I had my lucky star. She was my turning point, and I will be forever grateful.
Wow. I didn't know that.
So maybe I would have others, but I just don't think it happens in the lifetime of a business to be lucky twice. So I was really lucky once.
Well, enjoy that. It's funny that I've known you for a couple of years now and didn't know that story. How bad on me, but good for you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Annie, for all you're doing, for your team and all the hard work that it takes to do these things so well and to lean into the hard places of sustainable packaging and biodegradable ingredients and being so generous as your company has been with volunteer time and all the wonderful things you're doing. So thank you so much. And thanks for coming onto the podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was great to be here.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Aisle 42. Open up your web browser right now, I dare you, and go to unscentedco.com. There we have it. This one's a wrap. I'm Corwin Hebert from Ethical Food Group, and I'll see you in the future.